complete with instant replay. Your play-by-play announcers today are Big Two's John Smithstad and Frank Childs, and we'll be featuring the halftime performance of the Permian Panthers Marching Band. So don't touch that dial. Stay with us for the Permian Panthers Highland Park Scots game, sponsored by Diamond Shamrock. And brought to you in part by Engine Service and Supply, Jones Pontiac GMC, Rapid Lube, Roy Hill Gallery Frontier Furniture, Texas Commerce Bank, Odessa Telephone System, Gibson, Stan's Fine Furnishings, House of Maple, Billy Sims Trailer Town, Interfirst Bank of Odessa, Turner Auto Supply, and Whataburger Restaurants.
Good afternoon, everyone, from high atop Ratliff Stadium in Odessa, Texas. Frank Childs, along with John Smithstad, the rest of the Big Two crew, to bring you today's semifinal action in Class 5A state football playoffs in Texas. My longtime colleague Jay Mahaffey, recuperating in the hospital. Sorry he's not here today, because John and I and you are going to see a great football game between the Odessa Permian Panthers and the Highland Park Scotties. These two teams have traveled much the same path, although Permian, of course, undefeated, ranked #1 in the state at 14-0. Highland Park 12-2. They've had a tough and rocky road to get here, but here they are, and today the story will unfold on the AstroTurf at Ratliff Stadium. John, it's going to be a whale of a ball game.
Should be a great game. As you mentioned, Permian ranked #1, 14-0. Highland Park comes in at 12-2. Both teams, of course, 4-0 in the playoffs to get to this point, the semifinals. The last time they met was in 1980 in the state semifinals at Texas Stadium in Irving. Permian defeated Highland Park then, so there's a little revenge motive. But right now, let's concentrate our efforts on Mojo and see how they got to this point in the playoffs so far.
Permian opened their Class 5A playoff venture with a by-district affair against Amarillo Paladuro at Lubbock's Jones Stadium. The Dons hit the scoreboard first, and it was all tied up at 7 at halftime. But Mojo plowed onward through the fog to record a 41-21 victory, which launched them into area competition back home at Ratliff Stadium. Permian overcame a shaky start against El Paso Austin before burying this fellow group of Panthers 56-0. Next was a regional encounter with the Trinity Trojans at Ratliff once again. Mojo rolled to another shutout victory to the tune of 34-0. Then came a long-awaited rematch with arch-rivals Midland Lee at Lubbock's Jones Stadium. Permian had defeated the Rebels during the District 4-5A season. After falling behind 14-3 in the second quarter, the Panthers came back strong to pull out a 15-14 victory and advance to the semifinals against Dallas Highland Park. The Panthers beat the Scots on the way to the state title in 1980, and at least one Panthers player, center Luis Dominguez, thinks Highland Park hasn't forgotten that loss.
Of course, you know, they still don't like. They still got that bad taste in their mouth about us, I guess. And they just can't get over it, I guess. And this year, we're just going to try to reinforce it again and see what goes after that.
We'll be back with the opening kickoff of this afternoon's Odessa Permian Highland Park Class 5A semifinal showdown from Ratliff Stadium right after this.
Welcome back to high atop Ratliff Stadium. The rain has once again invaded West Texas. The temperature is 37 degrees just moments before kickoff, and once again, as we say, the rains are falling. That's a blessing in a way, because colder would be a whole lot worse. So 37 is not all that bad, and if one is suitably garbed for the rain, one is going to enjoy this afternoon's semifinal clash between the Highland Park Scotties and the Permian Panthers. The co-captains, both ball clubs, are on their way out to the center of the field to determine just who's going to get the ball and who's going to be kicking off. Of course, Highland Park Scotties are coached by Frank Beavers, and they won their way into the state playoffs via a coin flip, a three-way coin flip to determine not only a district titleist but a runner-up. And Highland Park, in the coin flip, won the runner-up position in that three-way tie. Since that time, they have been victorious. They had a 70-yard drive last weekend in the fourth and final quarter to overcome Conroe, who was heavily favored over Highland Park, and win that ball game 17-16. Permian, on the other hand, had to claw their way past a scrappy bunch of rebels. Here comes the Mojo Partisans, the team onto the field. And the band, of course, under the direction of Charles Nail, strikes up their banner. And from across the way, the Highland Park Scotties take the field. Highland Park, a big ball club this year, have won the toss. And they will be receiving the football as they'll defend the goal to our left, the north goal. Permian will kick off first to get our ball game underway. John, it's going to be a whale of a ball game. It's a shame that old man weather once again is not cooperating.
Frank, exactly. And you got to wonder now how this weather, how this rain is going to affect the two ball clubs. Of course, Permian, a very high-octane passing offense with Elton Holloway at quarterback. Greg Anderson, wide receiver, who injured his ankle in practice this week. Not expected to start today for John Wilkins' Panthers, but is expected to see some action, hopefully, on offense. Highland Park, of course, much bigger than Permian. 11 of their regular players on offense and defense, 200 pounds or more. So, as I say, if the rain keeps up, it's lighting up a little bit now, but if it keeps going, could hurt Permian's passing offense a little bit.
Let's take a look now at that Permian Panther defensive lineup.
Starting at defense today for the Permian Panthers, at end, number 88, Bobby Rodriguez, a senior. End, number 64, John Fuller, a senior. At tackle, number 67, Alfred Clark, a senior. Tackle, number 69, Tommy Bell, a junior. Linebacker, number 85, Gary Payne, a senior. Linebacker, number 18, Val Watson, a senior. Linebacker, number 35, Mike Heathington, a senior. Cornerback, number 16, Dan Swaim, a senior. Cornerback, number 15, Mitch Madison, a senior. Safety, number 28, Davey Wright, a senior. And safety, number 80, Tom Lish, a senior.
Checking the officials for today's game, the referee is Tommy Taylor, headlinesman Jim Jennings, back judge is Ron Allen. The umpire is Wayne Kimberlin. The line judge is Bubba Ojeski, and the statistician, official-type statistician, Jim Thresh. Barry Sykes will be, of course, keeping our unofficial statistics for the Big Two Sports crew this afternoon. It'll be Woody Bryant to tee the football up on the South 40, and the first 12 minutes of action will get underway. Back deep to receive for Highland Park, a couple of lads that have done yeoman service this year for Coach Frank Beaver Scotties. Ryan awaits the downbeat from referee Tommy Taylor. Taylor looks around, checks everything, gives that downbeat. Bryant advances, toes the football, and we're underway at Ratliff Stadium. Short kick at the 15, fumble picked up at the 17, back to the 20, across the 25, near the 30-yard line. And so they'll have good field position, Highland Park will, to get our ball game underway. Starting at center, as we look at the Highland Park starting lineup, Doug Barnes, 220-pound senior. The guards, will be Ernie Williamson, 220 pounds. Trey Smith, 221. The tackles, 230-pound David Turner, and Myatt McLarton, who is also 230. So a big average across there of about 225 across that interior line. John Stolenreg, certified blue chipper, will be at the quarterback, Stolenreg work, and he gives off the first time to James Knoll. Knoll, the halfback, over the left side, gains 2 or 3. Not much more than that. And there were some Panthers to get in and drop them down. Tommy Bell makes a stop for the Mojo, principal among the stoppers. The gain is short, a couple of yards, let's say. Call it second down and about 8 yards needed. Ball resting at the Highland Park 32. Barnes over the ball. Stolen work. Has his end split wide to the right side. Flanker. That's Clement. Far to the left. Drops back. The left-hander's going to pass. Shoots one that is complete to Knoll at the 35 to the 40. Knocked out of bounds around the 43-yard line. So the left-hander, who has not had a great passing year, passes for the first down of our football game from John Stolenwork to James Knoll. Knoll is a 180-pound senior halfback. He was the safety valve on that play.
Good enough for a first down for Highland Park on the tackle there on the sideline. Mitch Madison and Bobby Rodriguez. They're 1st and 10 now for the Scotties.
Set to go with the ball resting at the Highland Park 44. This young man, Stolenwork, they say is going to be a dandy come college time. Clement set wide to the left. Going to throw it one more time. Bell rushes. Fumble, and Permian, I believe, has the nope. It was in and out of the arms of Permian. And number 64 comes up with it. That's Ernie Williamson for Highland Park. So, looked like Lady Luck was going to smile early on Permian as Tommy Bell was there, but the ball got away.
Could have been a crucial turnover there for Highland Park. Stolenwork was rolling out and just dropped the football. Of course, it's very wet, and it is raining right now. Stolenwork had a hard time holding on to the football, dropped it, but Highland Park maintains possession.
Loss is back to the 37 of Highland Park. It'll be second down, about 17. Passing time once again. And a draw play. Up the middle it comes to James Knoll. Nice hold to the 45. Across to about the 48-yard line. So nice little draw play that time. They needed 17. They're going to pick up about 10, and will face 3rd and 7.
Nice play, nice call there by Frank Beavers for Highland Park on the stop. A stalwart on defense all season long for Mojo. Number 15, Mitch Madison. Highland Park now with a 3rd and 6 situation. It looked grim for a while, but a big chunk of the gain right there for the Scotties.
So the Scotties back up, facing 3rd and about 6 or 7. Ball resting just about their own 43.5, 44-yard line. Passing time once again. Big rush going to be applied. Pass is intended and complete to number 23. That's Josh Theodore. And Theodore is out inside Permian territory to about the 46, and that's going to be enough for a first down. No score in our football game. 9:52 remaining in the first quarter. Davey Wright on the stop knocked him out, but not before Josh Theodore had picked up first down. So what we heard about Highland Park being a good offensive football team is true. Facing 2nd and 17, they came back and got it.
Exactly. Their second first down of the drive. They're on the move in Permian territory.
1st and 10. Both ends are tucked tight. And Mike McCullough split wide to the right side this time. The give goes to Knoll up the middle. Big hole. And boy, the left side of that line, Ernie Williamson and Doug Barnes opened the hole for James Knoll of Highland Park. Good yardage.
Dal Watson on the tackle. And Frank, as you said, that offensive line, the interior part of it, huge, averaging 225 to 230 across that front line. They can move people out. They're big, and they are strong.
Second down, about 4. Ball resting squarely at the Permian 40. Highland Park has taken the opening kickoff, and they're driving. Once again, this time the give goes to Theodore. Theodore goes up the middle, close to the first down yardage, maybe a little bit shy. We'll wait and mark the football down. Let the official, Tommy Bell, take a look at it. Eyeball measurement says nope, it's short by about the length of the football. So 3rd and short now for Highland Park.
Tommy Bell on the trip up there. Interesting call here for Highland Park. They might throw, but they need a first. We'll see what happens here with the Scotties.
Slide down the line. The give goes up the middle. That is Waters. Len Waters with the football, and first down again for Highland Park. Ball is going to be marked down at about the Permian 33.
Frank, what we are seeing here is a very well executed and sustained drive in terrible weather for Highland Park on their opening possession.
That size right now, certainly here in the first quarter, paying off as they are moving the Mojo defense off that line of scrimmage. 1st and 10, Highland Park. This is James Knoll running the football. Check it off. That is Josh Theodore on the carry. Theodore, nice hole over the left side. He gets it down to the Permian 26.
Mike Heatington on the stop there, but again, a big chunky yardage ripped off there by this Highland Park offense, and we just can't say enough about that offensive line. If you'll watch, they're opening the holes right now against this Permian defense.
McNatt checks in as Gary Payne checks out on defense for Permian. In stuck tight, big hole over the right side. Coming around the corner, can't keep his balance. He's going to go down at about the 13-yard line. That is number 23, Josh Theodore. So the reverse working beautifully that time for Highland Park. A little trap reverse coming right.
The running game is definitely clicking now for Highland Park, and now they're inside the 20-yard line of Permian. The defense now, of course, having to get tough. As we said, Highland Park took the football, almost had a turnover, but maintained possession, and now they are definitely threatening. 7
minutes, 45 seconds left to go first quarter. No score, but Highland Park driving. Stolenwork gives it off to number 44. That is James Knoll. Boy, what a nice tackle turned in. And Tommy Bell hit him low, and somebody caught him high.
Met by Mike Heatington and Tommy Bell, and they did meet him very hard. And the Permian defense, when they have to get tough, they usually can do it. Right now, definitely an instance when they have got to get tough against this Highland Park Scotties offense.
Danny Zarant checks into the football game. McNatt checks out. along with Heathington. So a couple of changes in that Mojo defense. Second down and long. Stolen works the option play. Comes to the left side. Nice hold inside the 5-yard line. Going to be short, I think, of first down. He needed to get to the 3 and knock down somewhere around the 4-yard line, but it certainly sets him up in great position one more time.
Set him up with a third down situation inside the 5-yard line, Frank. Frank Beavers right now. His offensive plan obviously working because Highland Park has moved this football consistently. And right now they are knocking on the goal line of the Permian defense.
Permian trying to beef up the interior wall, and sure enough, it's going to be tight, but I think he got the first down inside the 3-yard line. That was James Knoll on the ball carrier.
Nothing fancy about that play, Frank. They went right off tackle, right up the middle, and it appears as if they do have a first and goal situation, and they do.
Ball resting inside the 3-yard line of Permian. First and goal to go Highland Park. And they have controlled this football for, well, almost the opening 6 minutes of the contest this afternoon here at Ratliff Stadium. Stolenwork brings his ball club out. Ends are tucked tight. Clement sent wide to the right. The give goes over a dive play to the right side. That is Waters on the carry. And Waters is going to be stopped to virtually no gain, maybe a half-yard.
He's met by a host of Permian Panthers up that middle, but gained a little bit more. Of course, we got to remember Highland Park through the playoffs and their 4 wins bumped off 2 previously undefeated teams in Plano and Bryan. They've got a talented team, and they're proving it right now to us.
2 more yards to go, and it's second down. So they've got plenty of cracks at that Mojo defense. Stolenwork has everybody tucked tight, keeps, and marches in. Flag is down. Stolenwork into the end zone touchdown, but as we say, a flag is down. We'll wait and see what the call is. I think it's going to go against Mojo. Offsides, Permian. Touchdown, Highland Park.
Frank, that drive consumed, as you said, now it's over 6 minutes. 6 minutes and 18 seconds, 5:42 to go first quarter. And Highland Park is on the board with the touchdown.
70-yard drive, reminiscent, of course, of that 70-yard drive they made last week against Conroe in order to pull it out 17-16 and get here. They take the opening kickoff and move it for 70 yards. Point after try. Clement's a left-footed kicker, toes it. It's good. And our score is Highland Park 7 and the Permian Panthers nothing.
And up next, stay tuned to Big 2 for the 1984 champion of champions quarter horse race from Los Alamitos. With a field of total winnings of almost $4 million, it's the most prestigious year-end race in quarter horse racing. The champion of champions. Up next on Big 2.
And we'll be back in just a moment.
Frank, we talked about a sustained drive there on the opening drive of the ball game for Highland Park, and indeed it was. 15 plays, 70 yards, 6 minutes and 18 seconds chewed up on the clock, a 2-yard run by quarterback John Stolenwork for the touchdown. Score right now with 5:42 to go in the first period is Highland Park 7 and Permian nothing. They have yet to touch the football this afternoon.
Ready for kickoff time, and as we take a look, Wayne Clements will tee it up. The 5-yard penalty assessed for the offsides has been assessed here on the kickoff. So the kickoff will come from the Highland Park 45-yard line. Royce Lightfoot back there. Greg Anderson normally returns kickoffs and punts. Of course, he injured an ankle last Wednesday in practice. The kick this time comes high to Lightfoot about the 5-yard line. Back to the 10, the 15. Needs a little running room. Can't find it. Knocked down at the 16-yard line. Good coverage by the Highland Park Scotties. And as we go to play Permian's first chance on offense, they'll start Randy Fields at center, Alfred Clark and Patrick Young at the guards, Les Montgomery and Doug Boyer at the tackles. It'll be Dyron New at tight end. We'll wait and see who starts in Anderson's place. And, of course, the quarterback is Alvin Holloway. The running backs are, of course, the big man for the year. That is number 18, Dal Watson, along with Rich Fletcher. And Lightfoot and Ladderback will alternate on the flankers. So Holloway gives it off to Watson. Watson up the middle. He comes. Nice gain out across the 20 to about the 22-yard line.
On the initial hit there, Tom Nash for the Scotties to take down Dal Watson. Flanking that 15-play opening drive for the touchdown by Highland Park, 13 of the plays were running plays and a couple of passes. So they just consistently moved the ball against that Permian defense and put it in the end zone.
Let's take a complete look now at the Permian starting offensive lineup.
Head coach for the Odessa Permian Panthers, John Wilkins. Starting at offense today for the Permian Panthers, quarterback, number 20, Alton Holloway, a senior. Fullback, number 18, Val Watson, a senior. Tailback, number 10, Rich Fletcher, a junior. Flanker, number 44, Brian Lauterbach, a junior. Tight end, number 86, Dyron New, a senior. Tackle, number 70, Doug Boyer, a senior. Tackle, number 71, Les Montgomery, a senior. Guard, number 60, Patrick Young, a senior. Guard, number 67, Alfred Clark, a senior. And center, number 56, Randy Fields, a senior.
Permian back out as we get set to go to play. Second down and about 4 yards needed for the Panthers, operating at their own 22. In motion goes Lightfoot coming to the line of scrimmage. The give goes, however, to Watson around the right end. First down yardage and then some across the 30 to about the 32-yard line. So both these offenses, John, starting, boy, with a bang.
One of the men on the stop there for Highland Park, Trip Wood. But like you say, offensive fireworks already making themselves quite apparent here in the opening quarter of this football game. As we said, Highland Park's drive was superb. They took it in 15 plays for the touchdown. But Permian now coming back with a little offense of their own.
First down and 10, Permian from their own 31-yard line. Lauterbach set wide to the left side this time. A little shift as the guards change. Lauterbach comes in just off the wing. Everything else is tucked in tight. And the give goes to Fletcher. Flag on the play. Came from the back judge, who is Ron Allen. Threw the flag, and the Permian backing up. They anticipate the penalty yardage.
It's like a nice play there by Matt Delaney for Highland Park. We'll see what the call is. It'll go against Permian holding.
A holding call, offensive style, will cost the Panthers. The infraction coming just about the line of scrimmage, around the 31. And it's going to be declined by Highland Park. The coach over there, Sinopoulos, turned it down and set up second down and about 11 yards to go.
Frank, we saw evidence of this on the Highland Park drive when Stollenberg dropped the football. It is cold, it is wet, it is hard to hold on to the football today. Permian so far having no problems with it, but you got to keep that in mind. Not going to be easy to keep a grip on this ball today.
Turnovers could certainly determine our outcome today, and I, for one, look for a high-scoring affair. Second down and 11, Permian from their own 30-yard line, excuse me. 4:13 left to go. Holloway fades, throws. It is complete to Royce Lightfoot. Lightfoot is knocked down around midfield. The 49, right around that area, but first down. Greg Anderson, by the way, I notice is now in the football game.
He is, Frank, and he was out on that pattern, so it's good to see Greg Anderson in the game. Of course, as you mentioned, injured his ankle in practice this week. Was questionable for today's game, but he's in there now in Permian's opening offensive drive.
Brian Lauterbach checks in with a play from Coach John Wilkins. And the Mojo on the attack, first and 10 from just about midfield. Holloway, fades, throws, passes. It is in and out of the arms. He threw it a little bit behind Greg Anderson. Anderson tried to do a 360 and get back to the ball. He was wide open over the middle.
Nice effort by Greg, and of course he is in the ball game now in this opening drive. Kind of a surprise. Head coach John Wilkins for Permian already wanting to utilize Anderson in that offensive attack. Permian is trying to throw the football, Frank. Circumstances and the weather not ideal for the passing game.
The ball gets,
the imagination.
Yeah, the ball gets extremely heavy and slick and all those other things.
Exactly.
Game today being brought your way by Diamond Shamrock and your Diamond Shamrock dealers. Holloway sets him up, second down 10. Lightfoot in motion right. Movement on the right side of the line. Somebody jumped before the count, before the snap, and that'll cost the Panthers 5 yards.
Certainly will, no doubt about that call, as flags went flying all over the place.
Those kind are always easy to spot and hard to remedy, I guess. You get awfully anxious.
Exactly. It'll be 5 yards against Mojo. Second penalty against the Permian offense in this drive. The other one being a holding call.
So Lauterbach checks in with a play from John Wilkins, whatever it is that you call, on second down and about 15. Ball resting back at the Permian 45, just inside the 45.
Would suspect, Frank, that we might see a pass here. It's second and long, second and 15. The passing game has been working well for Permian, despite the rain coming down upon us at this moment.
It is coming down. Seems like all the playoff weather, except for about one game, has been bad. Reverse play to Lauterbach. And he's going to pick up about 3, maybe 4 yards at best before he's knocked out. That play has been a staple in the Panther offensive attack for a long time. Sometimes, boy, it breaks for some large chunks of yardage.
It does. It looks like it could have there, Frank, but a nice play by Mike Schmidt for that Highland Park defense is stopping Lauterbach. So now we have a third, still long, 11 yards to go for the first down.
Lauterbach comes to the left side on the wing. Anderson split wide right. Holloway under for the Panthers. Third down, about 12. Drops back, has good protection, now has to hustle. Looks around, puts the ball down, going to run with it. Diving tackle. Turned in by Highland Park.
And again, number 43 on the tackle there, Frank. Mike Schmidt. 2 great tackles in a row for that Highland Park defensive man coming out of the defensive end position. And now Permian going to have to punt on 4th and long.
So the Panthers will face that punting chore. It'll be Dowell Watson to do the kicking for the Mojo, facing 4th and about 13. So their first offensive series, not near as successful as Highland Park's first thrust with the football. Highland Park drove it 70 yards. They lead 7-0, and Permian, having stalled out, will have to punt the football.
Trey Hill is your deep man on the punt return now for Highland Park.
Good rush put on. Watson toes the ball, low liner, and fielded about the 13, 14-yard line. He touches down, and so it'll be Highland Park's ball. Punt good for 40 yards off the toe of Dowell Watson.
It's probably coming up tonight on Big 2 at 6 p.m. It's Ripley's Believe It or Not. Then at 7, stay tuned as Robert Redford and Paul Newman star in The Sting on the ABC Sunday night movie. It's a great evening of entertainment tonight right here on Big 2.
It'll be 1st and 10, Highland Park from their own 14-yard line. 2:07 remaining first quarter from a rainy Ratliff Stadium in Odessa. Stolen work, gives it off. Nice play on the defensive side. That is Tommy Bell, I believe. Number 69. Beautiful stop, John.
I tell you what, Frank, Tommy Bell is playing himself one whale of a ball game for this Permian defense, as is Mike Schmidt. I'm a Highland Park defense. But a great play that time by Bell.
These teams have met one other time. That was in 1980 when Mojo stepped over, of course, Highland Park on their way to a state title. Second down, about 11. Stolen work. Page throws a little lateral pass. A little behind the line, out to the 10 to the 12-yard line. Nice tackle. That is Danny Servance.
Certainly was Danny Servance, and that was a great play. Excellent pursuit there by Servance to take down the ball carrier. And now Highland Park faced with a 3rd and 12 situation. Might look for a pass, but they're deep back in their own territory, Frank, so we'll see what happens.
Panthers making a couple of changes in that defensive alignment, getting a couple of extra backs in there. Watson goes back in at middle linebacker. Servance checks out. So it's 3rd and long for Highland Park, deep in their own end of the field. Stolen work, drops back, draw play. Rich Fletcher is chasing, and he gets him at about the 16-yard line.
Great play by Rich on that play right there. And, of course, it was 3rd and long. You suspected the pass, but as I said, they were deep in their own territory, so they went with the draw play. Fletcher, a great job of snuffing it out and stopping the play call. The Scotties will have to punt the football away.
Danny Swain was coming up to help out, and certainly instrumental on the defensive play. Bad snap, a bounce, left over, that is Clements. He kicks the football. It is going to land in the puddle just inside Highland Park's end of the playing field at about the 49-yard line.
Frank, not the greatest punt you'll ever want to see, but Clements did a good job of just fielding the football and getting it away. And, of course, great field position for Permian now after that punt. They have the ball at the 49-yard line of Highland Park. 1st and 10, just 20 seconds to go now, first period.
34 yards off the toe that time of young Wayne Clements. I want to remind you today's game is being brought to you in part by Engine Service and Supply, Jones Pontiac GMC, and by Rapid Lube. Permian's football, 1st and 10, operating at the Highland Park 49, so they didn't lose anything. In fact, they gained yardage on the exchange of punts.
Exactly.
Quarterback in motion, rolling out as Holloway needs a block on the corner. Not going to get it, going to have to run out of bounds after a yard or 2 gain.
That play was designed for Holloway to carry the football. He was not even looking to pass, and the play was made on the sideline by Brian Owen for the Scotties.
He simply fought off the block and did a nice defensive chore for the Scots.
Only a yard gain, so it's 2nd and long now for Permian. Only 13 seconds to go, first period.
Yeah, clock stopped on the out-of-bounds play, of course. So Lauterbach checks in with a play from Coach John Wilkins. facing, and his teammates facing second down and long. Give to Fletcher. Fletcher makes a few down to about the 42-yard line. The gain is going to be good for 3, maybe 4 yards.
Not a bad gain there for Permian. They're third down now and medium yardage. Probably about 3 yards to go now. We see on the scoreboard. Nice play made on the sideline there by Matt Johnston for Highland Park.
Speaking of the scoreboard, it reads 0-0-0 as far as time remaining is concerned. And we'll be back with the second quarter of action. Our score, Highland Park 7, Permian nothing. Park winning the first 12 minutes of action this afternoon. On a rainy Saturday afternoon, Texas high school football playoff action on Big 2. And, of course, they win the first chukker 7-0. Permian had the ball only twice. They are now in their second possession. Highland Park had it a couple of times, scored once, punted away the other time. So as we go back to play second quarter, third and short for Permian, Holloway rolls right, looks. It is complete to Watson, first down yardage. He is going to be knocked down at about the 35 of Highland Park.
Trip Wood on the tackle there for Highland Park, but the yardage is good enough for a Permian first down.
I noticed kind of a strange thing, John. You know, normally they always release all the balloons and everything, and they just flutter into the breeze, and you never see them again. Today we're seeing them. The humidity's so heavy, and the rain is keeping them down. They're floating all over the place.
Oh, and Frank, it's cold, too. Just ask my hands.
Yes, I agree. So, Permian first down at the Highland Park 35-yard line. Holloway has him set, long count. Gives it off to Watson, needs a block, gets inside to 35 to about the 31. Pickup good for about 4 yards.
Stop again made by number 43, Mike Schmidt, for the Highland Park defense. Schmidt making himself very preeminent there on the Scotties defense. He's making quite a few stops, but Permian now has got their offense in gear, it appears. So 2nd and 5 now. They have a sustained drive going, much like Highland Park's opening drive for the touchdown.
Les Montgomery pulling out that time to lead the way on the play. Brings up second down, about 6. Holloway once again on to give to Watson, cuts it back inside. Nice hole, nice game for Permian. Down to the 21-yard line, first down.
Great play there by Permian. Nice running by Watson. Brian Owen on the tackle for Highland Park. This Permian offense now, Frank, is in gear.
So, just getting underway with a little less than 11 minutes left to go first half. Highland Park leading 7-0, but the Mighty Mojo Magic is driving, and what they hope will pay off in the end zone with a touchdown. Ball spotted down at the 21 of Highland Park. It's 1st and 10. The give once again to Watson, drives inside the box to the 10. Fights his way down to the 7-yard line.
Here we go, Frank. Inside the 10-yard line will be 1st and goal for Permian. James Esquivel on the tackle for Highland Park, but not before. The gain is down to the 7-yard line of the Scotties.
You'll recall last week, John, on that winning touchdown drive, they simply gave it to Watson 6 times in a row. He took it 41 yards for the touchdown.
Frank, when you need a score, any team has got to go to their bread and butter man. Dal Watson, definitely Permian's bread and butter man on offense.
He's carried 5 times today, 38 yards. Fletcher comes in motion right. Holloway rolls, looks, passes, a touchdown, Permian. And the Panthers tally. Dal Watson on the receiving end of an Alvin Holloway pass. The 31st time this year that we've seen the Permian Panthers score via the air routes.
I'll tell you what, Frank, we were just talking about Dal Watson and how integral, how important he is to this offense, and by golly, get proof of it right there as he catches the touchdown pass, 7 yards from Alvin Holloway. Permian on the scoreboard, 7-6, 10:07 to go, second period. We'll look for the extra point now.
Holloway to do the holding, sophomore Woody Bryant, who was called up when Alfred Clark got hurt, and he's been kicking ever since. They'll try to tie it up for Permian. High snap, gets it down. Kick is up, kick is good. We've got a tie football game. Our score is Permian 7, Highland Park 7. Tonight at 10 on Big 2, don't miss the Big 2 News Weekend Report for the latest in news and sports. And I'll be there, too, to tell you what's happening with the weather. The Big 2 News Weekend Report, Midland, Odessa's news leader. And we'll be back with more action from Ratliff Stadium right after this timeout. back to play. Let's take a look. 48-yard drive, 7 plays, 2 minutes, 13 seconds elapsed time. And the final is 7 yards on a pass from Holloway to Watson. So the first scoring drive of the afternoon for the Permian Panthers. And we've got a tie ball game with 10:07 remaining here in the first half. Bryant gets his toe into the football. Short kick to the 13-yard line. Picked up at that point. Run back out across the 30. Nice hole out to about the 32, 33-yard line.
Well, now we're back to square one, Frank, with a tie ball game at 7-7. Just almost a couple minutes into the second quarter now. And in a game like this, Frank, especially with the weather, penetration as far as winning this football game is something we've got to look at, because that may play a factor if this game ends up deadlocked like it is right now.
Certainly can, and we, of course, have the official statistician, Jim Thresh, who keeps them as far as the crew is concerned. 1st and 10, Highland Park from their own 32-yard line. Stolen work, rolls right, keeps, looks to pitch, now does. Across the 35 goes Knoll, knocked out of bounds about the 42, 3-yard line. So James Knoll taking the pitch. A stolen work, just simply hung on to it until the defensive people had committed, pitched out. Nice gainer, Highland Park.
Nice play for Highland Park, as you said, Frank. Mike Heatington fortunately went out of bounds on the far sideline, but not before. Highland Park picks up another first down.
I guarantee you, John, if it gets way below freezing tonight, the icing problem in West Texas is going to be ferocious.
It's going to be hideous.
First down, Highland Park, their own 43-yard line. In motion comes Wayne Clement. Stolen work is going to be hit. He gets out of the tackle, and now he's going to be dropped. First man to come roaring through was Bobby Rodriguez. He hit him. Stolen work got out of his grasp, and then with a little help got back in.
Bobby Rodriguez on the initial hit. Mike Heatington coming in to help his teammate out to bring down stolen work. Great defensive effort.
Roy Hill Gallery, Frontier Furniture, Texas Commerce Bank, and Odessa Telephone Systems bringing you today's football game, along with the rest of our fine sponsors. We've got 9:26 left to go, first half, 7-7. It's all tied up, Highland Park and Permian. Highland Park's got the football, second about 12 from their own 41. Stolen work, left-hander, drops back. Going to have to hustle, does. It is in and out of the arms of the intended receiver, and that is Mike McCullough. McCullough was open over the middle. The pass was a little tall, and on a dry day probably would have been held.
Probably would have been held, Frank, and as we say, weather, the rain has got to play a factor in this game, and it is. That pass probably would have been caught on a drier day.
So it'll be third down and still long for Highland Park, as they will have the football at their own 41-yard line. And obvious passing opportunity. A couple of other times earlier, of course, they've run the draw play off of this set, trying to catch Permian's defense napping. Draw play again. James Knoll with a football. First down or close. Yep, first down yardage. So once again, that draw play working for the Highland Park Scotties.
Certainly did, Frank. Mike Heatington on the initial stop there, but by golly, expecting a pass on 3rd and 12, as you said, but they've used the draw before. Used it in that instance, and it was quite effective for him as it picks up another Highland Park first down.
The only thing that makes today bearable has been the absence of wind, and now the wind starts to kick up here at Ratliff Stadium, and folks, it could get a little tough. I guarantee you, these hardy folks who are out in the stands, I got a lot of respect and admiration for them, both sides, whether they came from Dallas or hometown folk here in the Odessa area. Boy, it is something.
You got to admire them, Frank, and I'll tell you what, I guess we were asking for too much to not ask the wind to start blowing, because it has certainly started making itself very much felt on our bodies here. It's cold and it's wet. Conditions definitely not ideal for any kind of sporting activity, and especially football.
Measurement for the first down shows, sure enough, 1st and 10, as we had suspected. The ball resting in Permian territory, just inside the Permian 47. Stolen work of the Highland Park Scotties back on offense. All tied up 7-7. And the Scotties now, as stolen work perhaps calls an audible. Set to go, long count. Slides down along the line, going to run the option play again. Dashes and darts and is knocked out of bounds on the far side at about the 42 or 3-yard line.
Yeah, nice play there by Madison on the far sideline to get Stollenwerk, who kept on the play. Of course, Highland Park running that veer offense, the Houston veer, created by Bill Yeoman down at the University of Houston. A very effective offense, and right now they're running it pretty well.
They've done an excellent job with it this afternoon. That veer offense very, very popular as far as a lot of teams, high school and collegiate. Mike McCullough comes wide left for the Scotties this time. He's picked up by Danny Swain on the cornerback slot. Stolen work. Long count, runs the same play left side. This time it's going to be brought down for a loss. And that is Dal Watson in there for middle linebacker.
Hey, Frank, does this guy do it all or what? Of course, he scored the touchdown to tie this ball game up at 7-7 in a stupendous play there, coming in to take down Stollenwerk in the backfield. Stollenwerk was just had his hands tied, had nowhere to go. Great play, Dal Watson.
Third down and long, about 8 yards needed for the Scotties of Highland Park. Frank Bevers has done a super job with this ball club. And, of course, his counterpart, John Wilkins, has a record totally unequaled, in my opinion, anywhere in the state of Texas. 12 years, a winner, a winner, a winner.
I agree.
McCullough in motion left. Snap, flags fly. I think we're going to have a delay of game penalty.
I believe so. I think Highland Park took too long to get that ball snapped, and it'll be a 5-yard penalty assessed against the Scotties should Permian decide to take it. And they will. Frank, I think I see the sun coming through. I'm not sure there's indications of sun.
Got to be an optical delusion, John.
Must be.
Illegal procedure going to be signaled against Highland Park, so that'll drop them back 3rd and long at about 12 yards. You don't reckon they'd run the draw play again, do you?
Boy, Frank, I tell you what, we've seen it twice today in this instance. 3rd and 23. You got to be expecting pass, but that's a lot of yardage to eat up in one play. We might be seeing a running play again.
Well, they may keep running the draw and then eventually set that pass up, too.
Exactly.
Sure enough, going back to pass this time, no draw play. Looks, passes. It is for McCullough. He is knocked loose from the football by Tom Lish. Beautiful job turned in by Tom Lish as McCullough had his hands on the ball, and Lish, with a driving tackle, separated man from ball.
Great play. McCullough, the leading receiver on this ball club, Frank. As we were talking earlier, he's second string now to Clemens, who has been a really fine player for Highland Park during the playoffs. So great play back there by Lish. Incomplete pass. Highland Park, of course, having to punt the football away now.
Wade Clements, left footer, toes the football, low liner type. Getting out of the way is Mojo. They're going to have to let it bounce, and it's going to roll and be killed by Highland Park at about the Mojo 11-yard line. So it'll be 1st and 10 Permian from their own 11-yard line.
Frank, tonight, right after the Big 2 News Weekend Report, watch the stars shine on Entertainment This Week. Actor Dudley Moore talks about his role in the fantasy movie Santa Claus, plus a special interview with actress Shirley MacLaine. That's Entertainment This Week tonight at 10:30 here on Big 2.
7 minutes, 10 seconds of playing time remaining here in the first half. We're all tied up 7-7. And Permian with bad field position back at their own 11-yard line, facing 1st down and 10. Holloway has him set. Gives it off to Watson. Watson needs a block right side. Can't get it. Not much there.
Frank on the tackle there for Highland Park. Fred Vihan.
Well, a little Greg Anderson out there trying to get the block on a kid that weighs 230 pounds. And so, boy, that makes it tough.
Frank, as we said, this team, this Highland Park ball club, extremely large, especially for a high school outfit. 11 of these kids, 200 pounds or more. That's the regular starters, offense and defense, so definitely a formidable force.
2nd down, about 9, the gain of a yard. Holloway drops back, going to pass, looks, fires it downfield, intended for Greg Anderson. Contact was made, but no flags have flown. No flags, and of course, a chorus of boos from the partisan Mojo fans. There certainly was contact on the play prior to the arrival of the football.
Steve Davis very close to Greg on that play, but no call. Apparently the official thought it was a good defensive play, but it's good to see Greg Anderson, as I said, in the game and involved in the offense. Darnier made a great catch on that play.
3rd down, 9 still, so once again, long yardage needed by the Mojo ball club if they want to hang on to the pig hide. Holloway brings him out. Anderson split wide to the left. Lauterbach goes in motion to the left side this time. And Holloway rolls left, wants to pass, shoots it. It is complete to Greg Anderson. 1st down, Permian.
Frank, a super play there by Permian for the 1st down. Mike Schmidt on the tackle back there, but not before. The Panthers pick up the 1st down, and boy, they need that one. Starting at their own 11-yard line, too, Frank. The field position was poor to begin with.
That is the 57th pass reception by Greg Anderson this year, and he's averaging 17.6 yards a catch. That's pretty good offense.
Frank, that's phenomenal. His 12 touchdowns, of course, is school record this season.
1st and 10 Mojo. They're out of the hole at their own 25-yard line. Clock running, 6:08 remaining here in the first half. Watson up the middle. Nice hole. gains across the 30, finally knocked down around the 34.
And here we go for the Permian offense now. On the stop for Highland Park, number 85, Brian Owen. The Permian offense now cranking into gear as they did on the touchdown drive, and now it looks like they're looking for pay dirt one more time, Frank.
I think the story of today's game, assuming it stays close like this, John, is going to be in the fourth quarter. We've watched Permian. We know they'll be hitting in the fourth quarter. We'll wait and see about Highland Park.
Sure.
Second short, passing play, complete to Lauterbach, first down. He is rubbed out, and now they say incomplete. Incomplete. He was separated from the football as he went down. And of course, from the partisans of Highland Park, they thought it ought to be a completion and a fumble. Poor zebras, they never get anything right, I guess.
Never get any respect, do they? Do a great job, though. Paul Harmon right on top of the play there for Highland Park.
Today's game being brought to you in part by Gibson's, by Stan's Fine Furnishings, House of Maple, and by Billy Sims Trailer Town. Permian, third and short still. Looks for Dal Watson this time to handle the football in some respect. Six-man line for Highland Park, and they key on Mr. Watson, and they stop him short of the first down.
Oh, and Frank, beautiful play there turned in by Brady Giddens, Highland Park defensive tackle, to stop the play and to force a Permian punt now.
Well, that one we could see from up here. Dal Watson gets the ball in short yardage situations. He's been the most productive running back, of course, for Permian. And Coach Frank Bevers putting 6 folks on that line, keying on Mr. Watson. They were going to hit him whether he had the ball or not. He did. Lost yardage. And it's punt time for Permian.
Oh, yeah, as you said, Frank, they knew Watson was coming on that play. 3rd and 1. Of course, Watson in that situation has come through so many times this season, but that time, the Highland Park defense was ready for him, and Giddens turned in a great play for the stop.
Momentary timeout. Watson coming over to dry his hands off. He's got to do the punting chores now. Triple safeties back for Highland Park. Watson gets his toe into the football, kicks it on a line drive, fielded at the 30, back to the 35. Nice block, clears to the 40. Fumble, and let's see, scrambles for the football, and it is going to be Highland Park's ball. Out around the 47 of the Scotties. Last man up off the ball is number 50. He got the football back for the Highland Park Scotties at their own 47-yard line.
Number 50 is Doug Cottle, Frank, and as we spoke before, turnovers could be a big part of this game, especially considering the weather. Almost a crucial turnover for Highland Park there.
37-yard punt, but 17 on the return and fumble. And so set Highland Park up, 1st and 10 to go from their own 47-yard line. Contrast that to where Permian started their last offensive series at their own 11. You can see what a difference field position makes. McCullough goes in motion right, and once again, it's going to cost them. As Tolenwork calls timeout. He gets the timeout called in time. And so with the time, 4:37 remaining first half, our score, Permian 7, Highland Park 7. Let's pause for these words. Highland Park's ball, 1st and 10 to go from their own 47-yard line. John Stolenwork, a 6'3", 195-pound senior quarterback, a certified blue chipper, operating the ball club, drops back to pass, left-hander's rush, now throws it complete to Clement. Clement steps out of bounds at the Permian 42-yard line.
Stolenwork felt the heat, felt the pressure from one Mr. Bobby Rodriguez coming from the outside, but the pass was complete as Stolenwork was able to get the throw away despite the pressure by Rodriguez.
Alfred Clark checks into the football game for the Permian Panthers, and checking out will be number 75 for Permian.
That's Kevin Wilson.
And Kevin checking out of the football game as Alfred checks in on defense. 1st and 10, Highland Park from the Permian 42. Clements in motion left. Give goes up the middle to Theodore. Little gain inside the 40, about 3 yards.
Mike Eatington on the stop up the middle there for that Permian defense. Highland Park now, ideally, Frank, would like to run out the clock and get a score before halftime and have that lead going into the locker room at the intermission.
Old Mo, one of the Minim boys, certainly on Highland Park's shoulder in the first quarter. The second quarter picked up from Permian, and now I guess seems to be somewhat undecided. Back to play we go, 2nd and 7. 3 yards on the last game. Stolenwork brings his ball club out. Draw play. Josh Theodore. Nice hole, breaks the tackle, gets inside the Permian 35 before he's finally snuffed down at about the 34, 33-yard line.
Top back in the Permian defensive secondary, Mitch Madison, one of the main hitters on that play on defense for Mojo. But a good game, 9 yards on the pickup. Third and short now for Highland Park. Interesting to see what Coach Frank Beavers will call for his Highland Park offense in this instance.
Devance out, Watson in, middle linebacker change for the Panthers. Quick count this time, and the give goes up the middle. To Lynn Waters, no place to go.
Not a heck of a lot there, Frank, as you said. Now Watson on the hit there, and quite a few other Permian players making the stop. We're looking at fourth and short, Frank. I do believe it's on measure.
Bobby Rodriguez comes off the bottom of the pile, but somebody else on the bottom of the pile is injured. We've got a momentary timeout for the injury. 3 minutes, 12 seconds of playing time remaining. I want to remind you we'll be bringing you all the action of the marching Mojo Band at halftime as well. And coming up tomorrow night on Big 2, it's Monday Night Football with the Dallas Cowboys and the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins, of course, have clinched the AFC East Division, but a playoff berth is at stake for the Cowboys. So don't miss it. Dallas, Miami. That's Monday night at 8 right here on Big 2.
They're trying to identify the player on the field. We can't quite pick a number on it yet.
Has to be one of the interior linemen, one would suspect. And we're going to be back and take a look in just a moment. Right now, let's call this timeout. Watson, the injured player from middle linebacker spot. The way Dallas is walking, looks like he had his bell rung. And we'll have to wait and see if he's going to be back in the ball game. That would be a serious blow, of course, for the chances of the Permian Panthers. Of course, coming up tomorrow night is that ball game between Dallas and Miami. And, John, the 49ers did Dallas a big favor Friday night on Big 2 when they put it on the Los Angeles Rams.
Certainly did. Now it's up to the Cowboys. They beat the Dolphins. They're in the NFC playoffs as a wild card team.
Also want to thank today Interfirst Bank of Odessa, Turner Auto Supply, and the Whataburger Restaurant, part of our sponsors for today's encounter. Back to play we go. It's fourth and short yardage. The decision has been made following a momentary timeout by Coach Frank Beavers. He's going to go for it.
Frank, they were going to punt. Now they're going for it on 4th and 1. Here we go.
Mojo defense stacking it in. McCullough is split wide to the left. Let's see who handles the football. Stolen work. Option play. Left side. Dives. Fumble. Mojo falls on it at the 25.
Well, we talked about turnovers, Frank, and by golly, there is a critical one right there. Highland Park have the first down, but a fumble, and Permian has the football back.
Beautiful defensive job turned in. He did have the first down. Stolen work. He was hit and hit hard by that Panther defense. Fumbled the football, and the ball goes over to the Panthers. So big play, big drive, stop on the turnover, and that's our first turnover of the football game.
Exactly. Now Highland Park was driving. Looks like they might get a score before halftime, but Permian forces a turnover. They have the football back.
3:07 remaining, first half. Holloway brings his ball club out on the rollout keeper. This is the student body sweep to the left. And Holloway is going to be knocked out at the 35-yard line.
Now, just 3 minutes to go. It'll be interesting to see what John Wilkins decides to do with his offense. If he wants to move it down and score, or possibly just with the weather the way it is right now, maybe run out the clock.
Rain continuing to fall on a Saturday afternoon in Odessa. Royce Lightfoot checks in as Coach John Wilkins shuttles the play in via the wingbacks. Brian Lauterbach and Royce Lightfoot alternate plays normally to bring it in. Watson, by the way, is in the ball game at fullback for the Panthers, so it was a momentary thing for him. Big gain turned in this time. That is Rich Fletcher, I believe, with the football. Out across the 35 for the 36, and that'll be first and 10 Permian.
Certainly will be. On the tackle for Highland Park is George C.
Nice block turned in by Dowell Watson that time as he kicked out the defensive end and enabled Rich Fletcher to move it on down, first down for Permian. Ball resting at their own 36-yard line. We've got 2:48 left to go first half. 7-7 deadlock tie. Holloway rolls, throws, completes it to Dowell Watson at about the 41-yard line of Permian. Game's going to be good for about 5 yards.
Probably good to see Dowell Watson back in the game, shaken up on that last defensive series, but he's definitely back now. A nice running play. couple plays back, and a great catch there for Dow Watson.
So it'll be second down, about 5, maybe 6 needed. Long 5 yards at least. Hands are set to go. The give goes to Fletcher again. Fletcher starts, knocks out of bounds at the 47-yard line. And a nice gain turned in. Let's see, there's 5, 10, about 13 yards on that scamper by Rich Fletcher.
Well, I said Permian might be trying to run out the clock or trying to go for the score, and obviously John Wilkins wants to get a score before halftime. He wants to lead before he goes into the locker room and intermission of this football game.
First and 10, Permian. Ball resting on the Highland Park 47. Holloway awaits the snap, gets it, gives it off to Watson. Big hole right side. Hit and stopped at about the 42, 43-yard line of Highland Park. A nice driving tackle.
Initial hit there by Brady Giddens, and then he was helped by a couple of his teammates there on the play. But Permian picks up 4 yards still, even though it looked like they weren't going to get that much.
Watson has carried the ball 10 times today for 57 yards. He has caught 3 passes for a total of 19 with 1 touchdown. That's the stats, of course, from Barry Sykes. This time the give goes to Fletcher again. Cracks it inside the 40 to about the 38. Going to be shy of first down yardage, but the out-of-bounds play stops the clock. A minute 35 left to go first half.
Matt Johnson meets and stops Fletcher on the play. As you said, it will set up a third and short situation for Permian. 3rd and 2 now, as they have gotten inside the 40-yard line of the Scotties. They're down to the 38.
Ryan Lauterbach checks in with play from the bench. And then goes wide left as he comes out of the huddle. Greg Anderson is on the short side of the field to the right. Holloway calling the signal. On the student body sweep to the right side this time, it is Holloway, and I believe he's going to be shy of the first down yardage. We'll wait to see exactly where the official spots it. But looks to be just a teeny bit on the short side.
Nice block thrown out on the outside there by number 70, Doug Boyer, offensive tackle for Permian. They try to pick up the first down on a 3rd and short yardage situation.
Going to have to measure. They're going to bring the chain from across the way. And that's a little 54-yard jog for the boys in the striped yellow and black shirts. The chain gang will bring it across. We'll stretch it out, have a measurement. Simply from the top of the box, the eye measurement looks to me to be a little bit short. We'll wait and see.
Nice drive turned in by Permian so far. They would like to have this first down just off. You see the ref showing it.
Short, sure enough. So now it's decision time for Coach John Wilkins. If you recall John a moment ago, Highland Park had the same decision. They went for it, made it, but fumbled it.
Certainly it is 4th and 1 now for Permian. We'll see what they decide to do. Highland Park had decided to punt, and they called the timeout in their 4th and 1 situation. Went for it and fumbled, and now Permian got the football, and they're driving with it after that turnover.
Holloway has thrown 4 times, check it off, and he has gone for 5 yards.
They're going for it, Frank.
On to go. He has rushed 4 times for 5, excuse me. So Holloway facing just about the length of the football. Fades, passes, it is complete to Anderson. Fumble. Let's see who comes up with the football. Nope, now they're going to rule it incomplete. And Greg Anderson says, gee, I thought I had that, folks. And, of course, the ground causing the fumble. But nonetheless, the ball will go over to Highland Park. That's the indication from referee Tommy Bell. They're going to rule it incomplete and stops the clock. A minute 26 left to go first half. Panthers 7 and Highland Park 7. For the most complete news coverage in the Permian Basin, watch Big 2 News weekdays at 6 and 10 p.m. Mike Barker, Marissa Morris, and Becky Neighbors with news. Jay Gordon Lund, my good buddy, with weather. John Smithstad with sports. That's Big 2 News weekdays at 6 and 10. Midland, Odessa's news leader. Highland Park comes out. They're set to go. First and 10 on their own 37-yard line. A minute 26 left. Stolenwork has his ball club out. Flags fly as we get a pitch back to the trailing back. That is James Noel. But the gentleman on the left side wing moved that time. It looked to me just prior to the snap. So we'll see what the indication is from referee Tommy. Sure enough, illegal procedure. And Tommy Taylor indicates same to the audience. And it'll cost Highland Park 5 yards.
Kenny Cervantz, Bobby Rodriguez in on the tackle, but nullify that play. As Frank said, he'll mark off 5 yards against the Scotties offense.
So the ball goes back to the Highland Park 32. Illegal procedure. So it'll be first and 15 now for Highland Park. At some point in time, if you keep going backwards, you're going to forget trying to score. You're going to simply run out the clock here in the first half, and you'll dry off as you can. Draw play. Tommy Bell blocked out. Wanted to get a piece, couldn't. And sure enough, the rest of the defense come up about the 40 and bring him down. John Fuller was over there along with Bobby Rodriguez. And 85 Gary Payne comes up off of it.
Well, Highland Park now with under a minute to go now in the first half. With the football, but you don't expect them to score, but stranger things have happened.
I guarantee you, boy can be in a flash sometime. Stola works the option. Boy, is he going to be hit, but he gets away to the 40. Being fought back hard, that is Danny Swain, or Mitch Madison. I'll get the number here in a moment. But they simply would not get out of the play and turn him loose. That is Danny Swain, number 16. John, nice play.
It certainly was. Frank Stellenwerk met by a wall of Permian defenders. Looked like he was going to be annihilated, but he did not. He got out of the situation and then came over to the far sideline, or their sideline here, and was finally taken down.
29 seconds of playing time remaining here in the first half. Highland Park has called a momentary timeout. Frank Bevers wants to discuss the situation with his quarterback. They're going to face third down. They'll need about 4, maybe 5 for the first down, and they are a long way from, of course, pay dirt at the other end of the field. So might look for some little flea flick play coming off of this one. They might pull all the stops up.
Sure, if your offense quarterback, Frank, of course, has got to be able to run to make that offense go, and Stellenwerk showed right there he has the ability to carry the football because he was stopped by that Permian defense cold. Got out of the situation somehow, and got some positive yardage for his ball club, and it looked like he would get nothing.
Davey Wright, Heathington, and Danny Servant check into the defensive lineup for the Panthers. So 3 defensive changes here for John Wilkins on third, and about 5 for Highland Park. Clock will not start until the ball is snapped. We've got 29 ticks left here in the first half. Highland Park with the football. McCullough goes in motion to the right side. It's the draw play again to Josh Theodore. Theodore is going to be snuffed out about the 45. Good defensive play turned in by the Panthers.
Certainly was a fine defensive play turned in by Permian. On the tackle for the Panthers, Danny Servant. He's playing a fine game defensively for Mojo here in the first half.
And I would suspect at this point they'll just simply let the clock expire, not even bother to punt the football. They're going to send the punt team in. 4 seconds to go. It'll never happen. And sure enough, 0-0-0 is the time remaining. 7-7 our score. It's all tied up at halftime here at Ratliff Stadium. We've seen an exciting first half, and of course we're going to be back in just a moment to bring you all the action and the color and pageantry of the Permian Panther Marching Band under the direction of Charles Nail. But from high atop Ratliff Stadium on a cold, rainy, and now beginning to be windy Saturday afternoon, we'll pause for these words. Halftime at Ratliff Stadium, 7-7. It's all tied up. And, of course, as Barry Sykes outlined some of the first half statistics for you, unofficially we have it 9-9 in first downs. Penetrations are even. And first downs unofficially are even here at halftime. Those are the things you go to when you have a tie score to determine who advances into the state playoff. Of course, today's winner will play the winner of the Beaumont-Fritch San Antonio-Madison game. That one started 30 minutes after hours at Kyle Field down in College Station. Teams are taking the field. It'll be Permian's turn to receive the football. And, of course, Highland Park will kick off to start the second half of action. Frank Childs, along with John Smithstead, and the rest of the Big Two crew on hand for this Saturday afternoon encounter. We are, of course, perched high atop the press box here at Ratliff Stadium, out in the elements along with the rest of the, I would guess, about 12 to 15,000 folks who have made their way and braved this inclement weather for the ball game. And we're set to go to second half action as Highland Park will tee it up on the North 40 and kick it. Referee Tommy Taylor gives the downbeat, and we're underway for the final 24 minutes of action. Lauterbach fields it squarely at the goal line, comes to the left side, needs a kick-out block, is almost knocked down at the 5, gets loose back to the 15, to the 17, 18-yard line before he's finally rubbed down. And we're going to check now and take a look at the Permian offensive starting lineup.
Head coach for the Odessa Permian Panthers, John Wilkins. Starting at offense today for the Permian Panthers, quarterback, number 20, Alton Holloway, a senior. Fullback, number 18, Dal Watson, a senior. Tailback, number 10, Rich Fletcher, a junior. Flanker, number 44, Brian Lauterbach, a junior. Tight end, number 86, Dyron New, a senior. Tackle, number 70, Doug Boyer, a senior. Tackle, number 71, Les Montgomery, a senior. Guard, number 60, Patrick Young, a senior. Guard, number 67, Alfred Clark, a senior. And center, number 56, Randy Fields, a senior.
Ready to go back to play with 11 minutes and 52 seconds left to go here in the third quarter. First offensive series for Permian as they operated 1st and 10. The give goes to Watson up the middle across the 20 to about the 21, 22-yard line. 21 is where he's going to be down. And, of course, that will set up Permian with second down and long yardage of about 7 yards needed for first down.
Frank, you want to talk about dead even. Of course, the score tied at 7-7. Each team with one penetration, both penetration of the 20-yard line coming on the touchdowns. And first downs right now, even at 9. These two teams are going at each other and going at each other very evenly right now.
Second down and long. Holloway fades, passes. Anderson complete to the 25. Gets to the 28-29. A flag is going to fly. A late hit as one of the Highland Park Scotties, number 52 to be precise, came rolling across, and although Anderson was down, he was coming and flying.
Tim Parrish a little overzealous on the play, Frank. It was a late hit. That'll be a 15-yard penalty against Highland Park for unnecessary roughness, a personal foul call. Good to see Greg Anderson, though. Nice move there. The ankle, of course, injured in practice, was questionable for today's game, but he made a nice, pretty move there and was hit late. That'll tack on 15 yards for Permian.
Dal Watson over with referee Tommy Taylor as we're going to have a measurement to see whether or not it is first down yardage. I think it is by almost a yard. And, of course, then they will step off the penalty yardage. So the chain will be stretched down here on the near side, the west side of the playing field, stretched out, first down Permian. And now that 15-yard tack on, of course, for the personal foul.
Frank, let's keep watching Big 2 for the best football action in the Permian Basin. The Freedom Bowl, the Liberty Bowl, the Gator Bowl, the Aloha Bowl, the Hall of Fame game, the Sugar Bowl, the Citrus Bowl, the Great Super Bowl, and the Pro Bowl. It's all happening December 26th through January 27th. And it's all here on Big 2.
Only thing we're missing is a cereal bowl, I guess. Yeah. Well, there are a host of bowl games these days, aren't there,
There certainly are.
I think everybody's got one.
There's a slew of them.
43-yard line of Permian following the 15-yard step-off. And it'll be Permian's football. First down and 10 to go from that point. 7-7, it's all tied up. 11-13 left to go here in the third quarter. Give goes to Watson. Nice hole over the right side. Breaks into the clear at the 50-yard line. He's going to be knocked down inside the 40 at about the 38, 39-yard line. The gain is going to be good for, let's see, 6, 7, 11, about 18 yards on that ramble by Dal Watson.
Beautiful run by Watson there, Frank, and on the stop, James Escabel for Highland Park. But now before Dal Watson goes for plenty of yardage and another Permian first down, now into Scots territory inside the 40-yard line.
Holloway comes over, checks the play with Coach John Wilkins, hustles back out onto the field, has the troops ready. Coming in motion, that is Lightfoot. The give goes to Dal Watson. Skirts his way inside the 35, down to about the 33, and there he's going to be knocked down.
One of the men in on the play there for the Highland Park defense is number 76. That's Tom Nash. I'll tell you what, when Permian needs the offensive yardage, Frank, which they do obviously now, they're going to Dal Watson. They did it last week against Midland Lee, and they've been doing it all season long in all 14 games. A great running back, also a fine receiver, as we've seen in the first half of this ball game. Caught a touchdown pass for Permian in the first half.
Second down, about 4. Permian resting at the Highland Park 33. Pitch once again. Give is to Dal Watson. He's going to be stopped this time for no gain. Whole host of them in there, and there was no hold for Dal Watson.
Certainly was not. Initial hit there by Fred Vihan for Highland Park as they totally shut down Watson on that particular play.
loss is going to be about a yard from the 33, half a yard, let's call it. And so third and about 5 yards needed. Lauderback checks in and will go on the wing to the right side. Now splits wide to the right. Anderson is split left. Running backs are Fletcher and Watson. Quarterback is Holloway. Drops back, a little quick pass. It is almost intercepted. The young man, I guess, decided to knock it down. Beautiful defensive job because he was waiting on that one.
Well, Frank, you're not kidding. That's number 11, Matt Johnston, had nothing but turf in front of him. Should he have intercepted that pass away from Greg Anderson, could have been a touchdown for Highland Park. As it was, just an incomplete pass.
So the drive by Permian opening up here the second half of action from Ratliff Stadium started off so promising is now going to come grinding to a halt, facing fourth down about 5, and Dal Watson will drop back and try to put Highland Park deep in the hole as they're going to play a little field position here on a wet AstroTurf. Watson toes the football, aiming at the left hash marks to the left corner, and it is going to be knocked out of bounds at the 6-yard line. What a nice kick by Dal Watson.
Beautiful punt by Dal Watson. Of course, last week, you recall, in the quarterfinal game, he put a punt out of bounds at the 1-yard line against Midland Lee. That one goes out of bounds at the 6. Great punt by Dal.
27 yards is all the record book will show. It will not show just how vitally important that was field position-wise. So it'll be 1st and 10 Highland Park. Stolen work operating his ball club at quarterback. And, of course, he's a highly sought-after blue chipper, a big 6'3", 395-pound left-handed passer. Shades of Kenny Stabler. Going in motion, that is McCullough. And now flags are going to fly. A little movement along the line. Contact is made, and penalty yardage is going to be assessed.
A motion call here against Highland Park. And as we said, Frank, of course, only a 27-yard punt by Watson, but the important thing was he got it inside the 10-yard line, getting Highland Park extremely forward. In fact, terrible field position at their own 6-yard line. Scots can ill afford a penalty, and yet they got one there.
Motion penalty, half the distance to the goal line. That moves it back to the 3-yard line. So Highland Park in terrible field position, facing first, needing about 13. So Stolen work brings his ball club out. Both ends are tucked tight. Going in motion is Clements. The give is up the middle, though, to the running back. That is James Knoll. Knoll operating at the left halfback slot.
Dal Watson with an initial jarring tackle there as Knoll is stopped after a very short gain. And they'll set up second down and long now for Highland Park, still inside their own 10-yard line.
Highland Park brought so many players. You can look across the way. They not only have the benches covered, they are lined up 2-3 deep back there.
It's unreal, Frank.
Almost have chartered one of the big DC-10. So second down and long. Highland Park just outside their own 5-yard line. Heathington moves into blitz, and beautiful timing, too. Play come up the middle, and Heathington was there. Dal Watson was there. Just a whole host of them. Kevin Wilson also in on the stop, along with Bobby Rodriguez. So those lads doing a beautiful job that time of reading the play and putting a stop to it. It'll bring up 3rd and about 10 for Highland Park.
As you observed before the play, Frank, Heathington coming in on the blitz. He made the initial hit there for the Panthers, and then a whole swarm of Mojo first and long made the tackle. Now it sets up 3rd and long for Highland Park at their own 7-yard line.
A nice time for a Mojo turnover. Stolen work. Rolls back. Now going to run the draw play. Kevin Wilson peels off. Bobby Rodriguez peels off first and gets him. Dal Watson also in on the stop. So it's punt time, and Highland Park's young man, Wayne Clements, a left-footed punter, will be back in his own end zone to punt the football out. You recall earlier in the ball game, he fielded a very bad snap from center, caught it on the bounce, at least got the punt away, so a little pressure on this kick. Nice snap, got a little bit low, but he fielded it all right. And toes the best punt of the day that he's hit. Backs up Greg Anderson. He's going to let it roll, be forced to. What a nice kick. It's going to be roll dead at about the Permian 31-yard line. We'll figure out the yardage. Barry Sykes will, and let us know in a moment.
And my calculations are right. We're talking 62 yards.
61 yards. 61-yard kick. What nice timing for Highland Park.
You're not kidding.
You need to get off a good one, and he did.
61-yard punt. Unbelievable there for Highland Park. Coming up on Saturday, December 22nd, here on Big 2, Georgia takes on Florida State in the Citrus Bowl. That should be a good one. That's Georgia and Florida State in the Citrus Bowl, Saturday, December 22nd at 12 noon, right here on Big 2.
Permian's ball, 1st and 10 to go from their own 31-yard line. Holloway calling signals. Lauderback set on the wing to the right side. Fletcher with the football. Nice hole. Kicks it outside to the 45, 46-yard line. Is finally knocked out of bounds on the far side of the playing field, but not before he'd picked up about 15 yards.
Great pickup there by Fletcher. Nice run. The last guy had a shot at him. Number 11, Matt Johnston, did make the tackle. Otherwise, Fletcher might have been gone all the way for the touch.
Lauderback turned in a nice block on that corner on the little crackback block that really sprung Rich Fletcher for the nice gain. Permian's ball, 1st and 10, their own 46-yard line. Anderson split wide to the right side. Lightfoot on the wing left. Holloway gives off to Watson up the middle. To the midfield stripe, about the 50-yard line, goes Dal Watson. So the gain is going to be good for about 4.
Fred Vihan got a hold of Dal's ankles there to make the tackle. But Dal Watson still a nice pickup up the middle, 4 yards for that Permian offense.
6 minutes and 42 seconds of playing time remaining. Third quarter action from Ratliff Stadium. The rain has subsided somewhat, for which we are indeed thankful. However, it has allowed the wind to pick up, which I'm not too happy about, and I suspect the spectators aren't either. So, second down, about 6 for Permian, operating at midfield. Holloway gives it off to Watson. Big hole up the middle, first down yardage and then some, as he booms his way down to about the 41, 42-yard line of Highland Park. So it'll be first down from that point.
Great hole open up there in the middle of that line there for the Permian offense. There's all kinds of running room up the middle there as Permian picks up another first down. They have a drive going here. They would definitely like a score here. We're tied at 7 in the third quarter.
Today's game being brought your way in part by Diamond Shamrock Oil Company. 1st and 10, Permian. Give to, once again, Dal Watson. Oh, no, Rich Fletcher. Fletcher works his way to the 40. He avoids the loss. Excellent defense on the play by the Scotties. But Fletcher did make a gain of a yard or so and to avoid that loss.
Once again, Matt Johnston there to make the initial hit on Fletcher, who could have lost yardage, as Frank pointed out, but at least got some positive gain there for the Permian Panthers. Still second and long, though, for Mojo.
Panthers are 40 yards away from a score, 20 yards plus an inch away from a penetration. And as John told you earlier, penetration's all even as far as the first half, just like the score. Lauderback in motion to the left side, fumble in the backfield, picking the football up, advancing for, a yard or so, is Dal Watson. He just simply could not handle the pig hide that time.
Tom Nash hitting Watson first. Frank, we pointed out already before, and it's become increasingly obvious now as the chill factor appears to be getting a little more intense. It's hard to hold on to the football. You grab it and your hands are like stone, like ice. You just cannot get a good feel for the football.
Yeah, the ball gets so heavy, you know, as it absorbs that moisture. You can imagine how heavy that ball gets, and boy, it is something else. You got to admire these youngsters who can do it to perfection.
Certainly.
Holloway on the wingback reverse. Lauderback is knocked down at the 40-yard line. Beautiful defensive play turned in by Highland Park, number 57.
Fred Vihan, great play there. He was blocked, as a matter of fact, on the play by Diamond New, the tight end for Permian, and still made the play on Lauderback. Tremendous effort.
Reached out, got a hand on the ankle, just enough to trip him up. And so it'll bring up punt time once again for Permian. They get that drive going. They force them to bend a little bit, but they have not been able to really get it moving and keep it a sustained drive. Almost blocking the punt this time from Dal Watson is a young man from Highland Park. Did a beautiful job of rushing. On a 22-yard punt, it's fielded about the 14, and it'll be 1st and 10 Highland Park from that point.
Chip Ward almost blocked the punt there by Watson, but couldn't quite get to it.
So Permian will go on defense, and let's check that starting defensive lineman.
Starting at defense today for the Permian Panthers, at end, number 88, Bobby Rodriguez, a senior. End, number 64, John Fuller, a senior. At tackle, number 67, Alfred Clark, a senior. Tackle, number 69, Tommy Bell, a junior. Linebacker, number 85, Gary Payne, a senior. Linebacker, number 18, Dal Watson, a senior. Linebacker, number 35, Mike Heathington, a senior. Cornerback, number 16, Dan Swaim, a senior. Cornerback, number 15, Mitch Madison, a senior. Safety, number 28, Davey Wright, a senior. And safety, number 80, Tom Lish, a senior.
4 minutes and 6 seconds of playing time remaining. in the third quarter. Highland Park's ball. The ball marked at just about their 14-yard line, 1st and 10. Stolen work. At quarterback, slides left, gives it off to the man through. That is James Knoll. Nice hole over the left side. First down, Highland Park, outside their own 25.
Nice play there by Highland Park. And on the tackle for Permian, number 80, Tom Lish in the defensive backfield, but not before the Scotties pick up another first down.
So it'll be 1st and 10, Highland Park from their own 26. The mighty Mojo on defense. It's a 7-7 deadlock on the scoreboard. 2 of the final 4 teams remaining in high school Division 5A playoffs. The give this time comes up the right side. A little quick hit over the right. That is Waters with the football. And he is down at about, around the 30, maybe a little bit outside. We'll see where they mark it. Let's mark it at the 31, a gain of about 4. Set up 2nd down and 6.
Highland Park testing the middle now. That Permian defense. Gary Payne, one of the men in on the tackle there. For Mojo, 2nd and 6 now for the Scotties.
Stolen work, hands it off once again to Knoll, and this young man doing a nice job today. Picks up 1st down yardage and gets it out near the Highland Park 40-yard line.
Well, Knoll has obviously been their key ball carrier today on the tackle. Mike Heatington on the solo stop for the Panthers. But again, another 1st down for Highland Park.
Highland Park's offense this year has averaged about 65% run and about 35% passing. Right now they are running the football and doing it well. 1st and 10 for Highland Park. The give comes up the middle to Waters. Not much there as the Mojo defense rose to the occasion.
Nice play there by that Mojo defense. And one of the men in on the play was number 38 for Permian. And, of course, Danny Savant, who is playing a fine game today for this Mojo defensive unit.
Gain is going to be 3 yards or so, a little over that. Let's call it 2nd down and 6. Short 4 picked up. Mike McCullough comes wide right. He's picked up over here by Mitch Madison on the corner. Stolen work barking out an audible, perhaps, as he gets to the line of scrimmage. Awaits the snap now from the center, Barnes. And on the keeper in the option play, gets it inside Permian territory to about the 47, 48-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10, Highland Park.
Nice fake, nice deception there by Savant, by Stellenwerk. Savant's on the tackle there to get the quarterback for Highland Park. But, again, Stellenwerk showing he can run with that football.
And the clock continuing to run, a little over 2 minutes, third quarter. It's 7-7. Permian and Highland Park, state semifinal action. Permian 14-zip for the season. Highland Park 12 wins and 2 losses. A couple of mighty football teams in high school action. This time the give goes once again to James Knoll, and he is really hit. There was Dal Watson, there was Alfred Clark, and there was Mitch Madison. All of those lads coming up to knock him down, actually going to lose about 2 yards on the play.
Group effort there by the Permian defense. Of course, the story in the playoffs for these teams, Permian's wiped out everybody except for the game last week, the quarterfinal matchup against Smith and Lee, a 15-14 come-from-behind victory. Highland Park has upset 2 undefeated teams in Plano and Bryan in their trek to get to this semifinal game.
One of the things I felt might hamper Permian, of course, was their, Highland Park's had a tough game every week. Panthers only one time. Nice gain this time, turned in by Waters as he gets it to about the 41 of Permian. So a nice little gain of about 8 on the play. They faced 11. Now we'll need about 3.
Mitch Madison again in on the stop, along with Gary Payne on that play. But as Frank said, another nice gain turned in for the Highland Park offense. Waters on the carry, and they are moving the football, definitely threatening now, Frank.
So big play time here. They need to maintain possession. Big play time for the defense as well. They need to put a stop to the Highland Park drive. This drive started, you'll recall, at the Highland Park 13-yard line. Fumble in the backfield. James Knoll has it. Stolen work, leaning over, berating himself because he made a bad pitch. James Knoll pounced on it to maintain possession for Highland Park. But the mistake has certainly cost him this offensive drive.
Killed him on that drive, Frank, and of course Stellenwerk not happy with himself. That was a poor pitch. He knew it. That ball hard to hold on to.
Greg Anderson awaits the punt. Bad snap, but getting it away is Clement. And it's going to go into the end zone. It'll be brought out to the 20-yard line, so a touchback. And that, of course, will enable Permian to be out on the 20-yard line. 1st and 10 to go from that point.
And tonight, right after the Big 2 News Weekend Report, watch the stars shine on Entertainment This Week. Actor Dudley Moore talks about his role in the fantasy movie Santa Claus, plus a special interview with actress Shirley MacLaine. That's Entertainment This Week, tonight at 10:30, right here on Big 2.
There are only 9 ticks left on the clock here at Ratliff Stadium to signal the end of the third quarter, so we've got time for one more play. Permian, 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line. Waterback just split wide to the left. Anderson is wide right. Bryan goes in motion now toward the line. The give goes to Dal Watson. Nice block on the corner. And he needs another one. Doesn't get it. Knocked out of bounds on the far side at about the 23. That'll stop the clock for 2 seconds and enable them to get one more play underway before the quarter draws to a close.
Frank, as you mentioned, only 2 seconds to go in the third quarter. It's been a fairly quickly played third quarter. Pretty even as it stands right now. Highland Park had a drive going there in their last series. They fumbled on a third down play and had the punt.
Here in the third quarter, Permian has pretty much forgotten the passing attack. They've kept it on the ground the entire quarter, as I recall.
Pretty much the same story with the Highland Park Scots.
Second down, about 7 for Permian. The give goes to Watson up the middle. He cuts back against the grain, booms it out across the 30 to about the 34-yard line. Watson now, prior to that time, had carried 18 times for 100 yards. So that time he brings his total well over 100. It's the end of the third quarter. Our score, Permian 7, Highland Park 7. We'll be back in just a moment. Our stats unofficial, but nonetheless indicative of the action here this afternoon. Permian, 1st and 10 to go from their own 34. The give is to Watson up the middle, not much. He is snuffed out. Whole host of the Scotties are there to stop him after a gain of about 2 yards.
One of the guys in on the tackle there, number 76, Tom Nash, defensive tackle for the Scots.
Let's give him 3 on the gain out to the 37, set up second down and 7 for Permian. At their own 37-yard line. They need to maintain possession of the football, use up the clock, drive down, and get something on the scoreboard. They've only attempted 1 field goal this year. That was by Woody Brandt in the first playoff game against Amarillo Paladuro. But he can do it. The reverse this time, and it's off to Fletcher across the 40 out to about the 43. A couple of yards, maybe 2 yards shy of first down. But it'll set up 3rd and short.
George Say, one of the men in on the tackle there for Highland Park. Good crowd on hand. Of course, Permian sold out of all their reserve seat tickets this week. As a matter of fact, they sold out yesterday on the press box side where Frank and I are. Highland Park sold quite a few tickets too, and they brought in a virtual Air Force to bring their throng into this ball game, Frank.
So 3rd down and short. Panthers, of course, you would expect them to go to Dal Watson. But John Wilkins might cross him up and throw the bomb to Greg Anderson, too. That's always a possibility.
The entire defense will be keen on number 18, as you say, Frank.
Anderson is tucked in tight, though, and now flags are going to fly. A delay of game penalty against Permian. And, boy, that one is going to hurt.
That was a costly mistake, Frank. Boy, 3rd and 1, you can't have a penalty, and by golly, they got called for one there.
Delay of game penalty cost them 5 yards, moves them from their 44 back to their 39. And now brings up 3rd and about 6.5.
Well, now you'd be expecting the pass, Frank. Of course, in the 3rd and short, Watson's your man, but 3rd and 6, Holloway can throw. Haven't seen much passing in this half, as you pointed out, but we could well see a forward pass right here.
10 minutes and 30 seconds left to go in the football game between the Permian Panthers, the Highland Park Scotties. Holloway is checked in with Coach John Wilkins and now checks back onto the playing field. In high school football, you got 25 seconds once it's marked to snap the ball. It always amazes me. The pros have 30, and they still can't get it done. Holloway rolls, looks, avoids a couple of tackles, and is now going to be down at the 40-yard line. He had to run for his life. They had Greg Anderson double-teamed downfield. Greg was over the middle, but he was double-teamed. And so the ball will be punted away by the Permian Panthers.
Boy, pressure is on again. Frank once again in on the tackle. Number 76, Tom Nash. The dimensions on this guy. He's a stout young man. He stands 5'10", 210. He's a senior for these Highland Park Scots.
Like a tank.
You betcha.
Dal Watson awaits the snap. Gets it. Nice one. About waist high. Gets his toe into the football. And sends a boomer that's going to be fielded back at about the 18-yard line. And coming down, a driving tackle, number 51 of Permian. Boy, what a nice play on this special teams unit turned in by this young man. The punt good for 42 yards. Statistician Barry Sykes tells me. And a beautiful tackle turned in on the special teams back at about the 21-yard line. So Highland Park will go back on offense.
Louis Salcedillo in on the tackle, and that was a fine play as he pulled out number 45, Trey Hill, for Highland Park on the punt return.
So Highland Park operates 1st and 10 to go from just inside their own 20. To give this time to Knoll, he is hit and dropped. He's going to fall forward for a yard or two, but Tommy Bell made the initial contact, and then I think Bobby Rodriguez was there along with Danny Servance. So the gain good for about a yard, set up 2nd down and 9.
Driving tackle there, and one of the men responsible was number 62, Jerry Leclerc, who was Permian defense. Nice play.
Stolen work brings him out. 2nd and long. Just outside their own 20. Option play left. Chasing to the corner is Gary Payne, and he's going to run the ball carrier Knoll out at about the 22. Gain of a couple, but it's going to bring up a 3rd and long situation for Highland Park.
Nice play by Payne, Frank. It looked like Knoll wanted to cut up a little earlier than he did, but you know the footing stuff down there in the field, it's wet and it's cold. He just couldn't quite make the sharp turn he wanted to. Ended up running out of bounds with the football.
This AstroTurf field, of course, here at Radcliffe drains quite well, but it has had an awful lot of moisture and is indeed slick on the corners. Big play time here. 3rd and long for Highland Park. Stolen work. Draw play once again. Piercing in is Leclerc. He drops him at the 25, 26-yard line. Nope, check it off. That is, yeah. I believe that's correct. Number 62, isn't that Leclerc?
Exactly. Tremendous play there by Jerry. They went with that draw play again on 3rd and long. Frank did not pay off for him this time. Jerry Leclerc smelled it out and made a fine stop.
I keep looking for him. They've set the draw up so well, I keep looking for him to throw it off of that thing, but they haven't yet. So it's punt time for Wayne Clements of Highland Park. He'll tow the ball from about his 15, gets a decent snap, no rush, sends a low line drive that's going to land at the 45, trickle on down, is now touched at the 43-yard line. The official was behind it. I don't even think he realized that the ball had been touched. A 32-yard punt by Highland Park, and that will set up Permian 1st and 10 to go. Good field position at their own 43-yard line.
Bill Clements touched the ball, and he did not want to. He wasn't happy with himself. Coming up Saturday, December 22nd here on Big 2, Georgia takes on Florida State in the Citrus Bowl. That's the Bulldogs and the Seminoles in the Citrus Bowl. Saturday, December 22nd, 12 noon, right here on Big 2.
So Permian back on the offensive attack. Holloway gives it off to Watson up the middle, 3, 4, booms his way across the 45 to about the 47 and a half. And that'll be a gain of 4 and a half. And you hear the strains of Hawaii 5-0, the unofficial or official, I'm not sure which, but anytime the Mojo are on the march, on the move in the playoffs, you're going to hear that familiar strain.
Fires these folks up, doesn't it?
It really does. 2nd down, about 6. About 4, a long 4 picked up by Watson on that last play. Once again, Dow gets his number dialed up into Highland Park territory. He goes at about the 49. A gain that's going to be good for 3, and it'll bring up 3rd down and short yardage of about 2.5 yards.
One of the young men in the tackle there for Highland Park, number 57, Fred Vihone. He's had a good game today for Highland Park as well. It's been a defensive battle, obviously, only 7-7. We are in the 4th quarter, about midway through.
7 minutes left to go. Big play time now for Permian. 3rd and short. Holloway calls signal. Sweep. Student body coming to the right side. Fletcher cuts back inside the 40-yard line down to about the 38, and he's holding his left leg as he was hit and dropped at about the 38-yard line. Watson has now carried it 22 times, Barry Sykes tells me. He has tallied 122 yards on those totes. And now Fletcher up off the field, and it looks like he'll be all right.
Frank, a tremendous block thrown out there by Patrick Young, offensive guard for Permian, helping to spring the play. And this offensive line doing a fine job for Permian. As we said, the defenses have dominated, but the offensive line for Permian right now doing a good job.
Holloway checks the call once again with his backs as they move to the line of scrimmage. 1st and 10, Permian. At the 38, the give is to Watson left. Needs a block on the corner, gets it, turns it inside. Is going to gain 5, maybe 6 yards before he's finally snuffed out at about the 32-yard line of Highland Park. So the Panthers on the move. 6 minutes and 22 seconds left to go in our football game. It's all tied 7-7.
Kind of odd to talk about warming up in a day like this, frankly. It appears that what Dal Watson is doing right now is he's getting in gear now, carrying that football for Permian and looking really solid.
One way to keep the opponent from scoring is to maintain possession of the football, and that's what Permian's doing at the moment. Dal Watson looks for a hole, can't find one. He's going to be shy of first down yardage. He'll get it maybe just inside the 30 of Highland Park. We'll wait and see where they mark the football, but it's going to be a yard and a half shy of first down, and it's third down. And they're, of course, John, in fourth down territory. They're going to run 4 downs, I would suspect, from this far in the playing field.
Sure, one of the men in on the tackle there for Highland Park, number 52, Tim Parrish. And folks, we are enjoying a fine high school football game right here. Not much scoring, but greatly contested, really competitive. I'm enjoying it.
Fletcher back in. Clinton Williams is out. Play goes to Fletcher. Skirting the right side. Student body sweep. First down, Permian. He dives the last 3 yards, does Rich Fletcher, over a lot of bodies, both in black and white shirts. And it's first and 10, Permian. Ball resting now at the 26-yard line of Highland Park.
Big number 75, Brady Giddens, in on the tackle there for the Scots, but not before. Permian picks up a crucial first down. They are now at the 26-yard line of Highland Park, and Permian definitely threatening. Boy, if they get a score here, could almost be all over for Highland Park.
A little over 5 minutes of playing time left. First and 10, Permian. And they're on the move. The give to Watson up the middle, about 2, maybe 3. Not much more than that, as he has dropped. So it'll be second down and long yardage. Second down and long for Permian.
Looking ahead a little bit, Frank, of course, if Permian gets a score here, won't be much time left for Highland Park. Scores few and far between today. It won't be impossible. It'll be extremely tough for the Scots to score, though.
The ball is marked at the 24. Permian on the attack. Holloway, long count, gives it off up the middle. Dal Watson, about 3 down to the 21-yard line. And Dal has carried the ball now 16 times for 78 yards, and that's this half alone. Our statistics, of course, unofficial, being kept by Barry Sykes. Our thanks to Barry, of course, the program director of radio station KGEE. We appreciate so much his contribution to our broadcast.
Certainly do. Now, Permian, Frank, driving, had the edge in first down coming into this half. They still have it. I'm not entirely sure what the count is now, but we're looking at penetration. They have 1 yard to go to get to the 20. They'll have a 2-to-1 advantage if they can do it.
Give us to Watson. Penetration he's got. First down he's got. It's first and 10, Permian, from the Highland Park 15.
Okay, Frank, Permian in great shape now because even though we're tied at 7, that gives the Panthers the edge in penetration to the 20-yard line. 2-to-1. That's almost like a victory now for Permian with 3:44 to go. The Panthers have a fairly large edge also in first down.
Panthers, of course, would like to drive, score the touchdown, leave as little time on that clock as possible so that Highland Park wouldn't have a chance to come back. But either way, they're setting in better shape now than they've been since that opening Highland Park touchdown. First and 10, Permian. The give. Rich Fletcher, right side. Needs a block. Gets inside the 10 to the 5-yard line.
Oh, Permian in excellent shape now, Frank. And fans, you may not be aware, if you're tied in the score, the next thing you look at to try to determine a victor is penetration. Permian leading 2-to-1 there. Way ahead in first downs now as we have it. And by golly, they are knocking on the door for a score right now.
Both guards, Patrick Young and Alfred Clark, did a pulling job that time and did some blocking that was absolutely super to watch. And so we've got a time stop for a moment as they bring in the chains to measure to see if it's first down yardage. 3:22 left. Of course, once the ball is checked and marked, the clock will start again. It is shy of first down by about 4 inches.
Frank, the Permian offensive line doing a super job opening up holes now for Watson and Fletcher. Panthers moving the football and moving it very well. They have now the advantage in penetration at 2-to-1. Way out in front is first down as we have it. By golly, they're getting ready to put it in the end zone and take the lead in this game.
We've got a young man, that is, I believe, Dal Watson, down on the far side, still on the field. They are ministering to him. And now the referee is going to signal a timeout is going to be charged to Permian. And that is their first timeout of the half. They will now have 2 left. And they will take the timeout to talk things over and, of course, check on Dal Watson to see just what's going on and get him ready to go. He is. And now checking with Alton Holloway.
Just a few short moments ago, I saw a shoe fly, Frank. It was Dow's shoe. He had a shoe problem there, but that has been remedied now, and Dow's back and ready to go.
As well as Dal Watson is doing, so is Rich Fletcher. He has carried the ball 10 times, gained 66 yards. That's a pretty healthy average, 6.6.
No kid.
And so the Mighty Mojo, working their magic, are just inches away from a first down, a little over 5 yards away from a touchdown. And it would be, of course, the go-ahead touchdown here at Ratliff. We're tied 7-7, and the Panthers driving.
Frank, the TD would put the Scots back very much against the wall.
Fields the center. He's wanting the football. Dal Watson up the middle, first down, and touchdown. He would not be denied. Let's take a look at that one on instant replay.
Frank, we talk about second effort, a superb example of it here by Dal Watson. He scores his second touchdown of the day. He got the Panthers touchdown in the first half on a TD reception on the pass from Alton Holloway. This time he runs it in. He will stop, Frank. He will stop dead cold. The second effort pushed it around, made his way into the end zone. Permian leading 13-7 with the extra point to count. Only 3:17 to go. Highland Park in serious shape right now.
Woody Bryant will attempt the point after. Alton Holloway will do the holding. Snap is back, the kick is up, and the kick is good. So our score mounts, Odessa Permian 14, Highland Park 7, 3:17 left to go, and we'll be back after these words. Woody Bryant will handle the kickoff chores for the Permian Panthers. Referees had a little consultation. Tommy Taylor coming across. Now John Wilkins and the head coach of Highland Park are going to meet at midfield, check penetrations, check timeouts, and everybody will know where everybody stands.
Well, Frank, we're down to the crucial part of this ball game now. Permian needed the score. As a matter of fact, they had the penetrations. They had the lead there, had the lead in first downs, but they wanted the touchdown. They wanted to win this thing outright. Right now, it looks as if they will, leading by a touchdown, 14-7, 3:17 to go. But Frank, we talked about fantastic finishes. This thing isn't over yet.
14-7, Permian. And we've got 3:17 left to go in our football game. It'll be Permian to kick off, Highland Park receiving, and they'll have another shot.
Of course, last week, Frank, you pointed it out earlier, Highland Park won against Conroe with a long drive in the last 4 minutes of the game to pull off a 17-16 win in that quarterfinal matchup. We have less than 4 minutes to go now at 3:17. Deja vu, we hope not.
Well, if they can drive it down and score the touchdown, they still have to pick up a two-point conversion, I think, to win the game. And if they can do that as well as these two teams have fought, I'm sure Mojo would wish them well in the finals. Kickoff goes to the ceiling to the 5-yard line. Back up the middle of the field. Big hole across the 20, across the 25. And so it'll be Highland Park's ball, 1st and 10 at their own 26-yard line. 74 yards away from where they need to be. 3 minutes and 12 seconds of playing time left.
Danny Savance in the tackle there for the kickoff team. He'll stay in on defense. Savance has played a great game today for Mojo on the defensive side of the football. Highland Park, as Frank pointed out, has their work cut out for him. 3:12 to go. They've got to have a touchdown.
Dig in, Mojo. That's the sign on the Inner First Bank building, or on the bank sign, and that's sure enough what the defense wants to do. Stolenworth going to try to work a magic of his own. Hounded by LeClaire, down inside the 15-yard line.
Frank, you talk about your crucial defensive plays right there. We saw it. Jerry LeClaire on the tackle, dumping the quarterback back in his own backfield there. As Stolenworth goes down, it's going to be 2nd down and 22. Highland Park now with the ball back around their own 14, 15-yard line. Clock running, 2:45 to go. It's looking pretty grim for the Scotties.
2nd down and 22. Pass time for sure. I don't know. They might run the draw play again. You never know.
Possibility.
We'll see. Dropping back. Stolenworth wants the screen pass over the middle. It's complete to Theodore out across the 25 to about the 27. Or check that off. That's a 22-yard line. I'll spot my markers here in a moment.
Mike Eatington on the tackle there. Nice play by Mike. It's still second down. A long ways to go for Highland Park for the first down. First down's not that big a deal now for the Scotties. They got to have a touchdown, but it is second and 14.
Third and long, about, let's call it 14. Third and 14. They picked up part of it. Let's see what happens now. Nice rush. Wide open is 86 McCullough. He throws it behind him.
Frank McCullough, their leading receiver this season, has not been that key of a force in the playoffs. As you pointed out, Clements has been their main man pass receiving-wise through postseason play. Should have caught that pass, should have McCullough, but he dropped it. And now we have third and 14 to go for the Scots.
Eddie Swain was right there on the defense for the Mojo. And it's kick time, or at least they're going to give that appearance. A minute 55 left to go with the clock stopping on the incompleted forward pass. Clements will tow the ball ostensibly from about his 12. Nope. Little flea flicker, if you please. Pass play, set it up to the left side. Mitch Madison is there, and he rubs it down.
Did not even begin to fool Mitch Madison on the far sideline. He makes the play, and apparently the scoreboard read third down. Apparently that being a fourth down play. The ball goes over to the Permian Panthers deep into Highland Park territory. Frank, I think it's almost safe to say now this ball game's over. Permian is in the Class 5A championship game.
Well, if you were Dandy Don, you'd be singing your song, I guess. But Permian takes it over. First and 10 to go from the 17, and Mitch Madison doing a beautiful job. Sure enough, a little flea flicker in the backfield on the fourth, and long as they were going to punt the football. And Permian has a chance to play add-on as far as the score is concerned. They just soon use up the clock and go to the dressing room.
Turn out those lights, Frank. I believe it's over.
Here comes Clinton Williams around the right side to the 10, inside the 10, still fighting, and is going to be knocked out of bounds at about the 8-yard line. Officials ruled that he was really stopped. Forward progress had been stopped, so the clock will continue to run.
Frank, Permian coming on strong. Highland Park, of course, with the win completely taken out of their sails now. They cannot win this football game. They will lose. 14-7 may be the final. Permian may score here. But by golly, Permian has played a great game. But let's not neglect those Highland Park Scots. They played a whale of a football game today as well.
1 minute, 29 seconds. Highland Park has, of course, called timeout. They want to stop the clock, see if they can stop Mojo on second and short, only some 7 yards, 8 yards removed from pay dirt, and what would be an absolute clincher for them. Now checking out of the game comes Greg Anderson. He gives a kind of a short 5, if you please, to Alton Holloway. No jumping in the air. Just there's going to be some jubilation, one would suspect, from the black and white in about 1 minute and 29 seconds that would blow this stadium apart.
Certainly
they will have
so.
made the finals.
Permian defense this half has given up only 3 first downs to the Highland Park offensive unit. 3 yards by the pass. The Stollenworks, a potentially potent passing arm, has been completely shut down in this half. Only 35 yards rushing for the Scots, 38 total yards in the second half. What a job by the Permian defense.
Panthers on the attack from the Highland Park 8. The give is to Dal Watson, right side. Touchdown, Permian.
Frank, I don't need to tell you or the fans, that's touchdown number 3 for Dal Watson today. He scored all 6 pointers for the Panthers. 20-7 now. Permian leads after Dal's third TD of the football game. Just 1 minute 24 to go. This game now definitely over. No drama left. Permian is in the Class 5A championship game.
Let's take a look at that one, John, on instant replay. And you'll see a hole opened up on the right side for Dal Watson. You or I think, could have gone through that one. And then the last 3 yards, that effort that Dal always gives. And Permian has salted it away. Point after try to come. Woody Bryant to kick. Alton Holloway to hold. And for the Highland Park folks, they don't have to bow their head, but it's still going to be a long trip back to Dallas.
Certainly will be.
Point after his block. Coming in is number 32 from Highland Park. And he gets a hand on the football and knocks it to the turf. That'll only change the score. Keep our score at 20-7. And, of course, from that point, Permian will kick it off again. Coming up tomorrow night on Big 2, it's Monday Night Football for the Dallas Cowboys and the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins, of course, have clinched the AFC Eastern Division title, but a playoff berth is at stake for the Cowboys. So don't miss it. Dallas at Miami, in from the Orange Bowl, Monday night at 8, here on Big 2.
Frank, Robbie Crane with the kick block there and the extra point. Small consolation for Highland Park. They keep the Panthers from hitting 21, but the issue's been decided. The Panthers probably will win this game. The final score being 20-7, they'll definitely win, but it looks like the final score in all likelihood will be 20-7 when it's all over.
2 plays on that drive that only had to go 17 yards. And, of course, Watson going the last 8 yards. Oh, and that line has done a beautiful job today as well. Boy, I guarantee you those backs don't move without them. Certainly. Kickoff time, but Woody Bryant fumbles, picked up, and a big line on the left side. He's got the picket set up. He's going to be knocked out of bounds around the 30, 31-yard line of Highland Park. So the Scotties will get another offensive thrust with 1:18 left. And you'll recall at 1:29, they own the football.
Exactly. nice return there by Byron and Cox. And Frank, as you pointed out, Watson with a great day. 3 touchdowns, all 3 scores for Permian, 30 carries, 155 yards. But he's not going to go anywhere without that offensive line blocking up front for him. I think Dow will be the first guy to point that out, too.
Absolutely. Great team effort by Permian. They always execute so well year in and year out. It's just phenomenal. And this bunch is something special, too. Pass intended from stolen work to Kennington. And that's the first time I think he's thrown it. No, let's check it off. He threw one more time at Kennington over the middle. So only the second time he's tried to hit the big 210-pound junior, who was the leading pass receiver from the tight end position for the Highland Park Scotties this year.
Frank, as you said, you just can't say enough about this Permian team. And under the direction of head coach John Wilkins, the coach does a fine job with this team every year, and this year no exception. They're in the state championship game for Class 5A.
They have totally dominated, the Permian Panthers have, this second half. This play unfolds. Stolen work on the draw. Gives it off to Knoll. Up the middle he goes. He's going to be stopped shy of the 40-yard line at about the 38. Permian's offensive team here in the second half have put 14 points on the boards. They have tallied 13 first downs, a total of 159 yards, a total offense, and 152 of that on the ground, and a lot of it by Dal Watson and, of course, Rich Fletcher.
Incredible. Leclerc with another tackle in that last play.
This time the give goes to Waters. He's got first down yardage out to about the 43, 44-yard line. But that, of course, will get the clock rolling again. They will stop it long enough to move the chains, and then the clock will start. So Highland Park quickly out of the huddle. They want to be at the line of scrimmage when the chains are set and the clock starts. Stolen work. Brings his ball club out. Looks. Shoots a pass. That is caught over on the far side, but he's out of bounds. The pass was a little too tall, and that was Wade Clement, 165-pound senior over there. He had drifted in behind Mitch Madison, who was covering the short man coming out of the backfield, and the pass was simply out of bounds.
Scott's playing on pride now, Frank. They'd like to get another touchdown here in the semifinal game before they pack it up and head back to Dallas. Highland Park, they're tied 7-7 going into this quarter. It was a football game, and then Permian came on strong here in the final stanza. They lead 20-7. That'll probably be the final tally.
I think you and I were talking prior to the game and early in the game about that fourth quarter and how the stamina for Permian, because they'll hit you all quarters. Stolen work now, trying to get to the sideline, stop the clock, and does just inside Permian territory at about the 49.5. But sure enough, that fourth quarter has done it for Permian.
Frank, you know, you pointed that out a long time ago. The fourth quarter would be the telltale period of this game, and sure enough, it has been. As I said, 7-7 going into this quarter, anybody's ball game. And Permian came on, scored 2 touchdowns, 13 points, way out in front now, 20-7. And the fourth quarter was the telltale period, as you said. Permian won it in this period.
Final few plays of the ball game as we're just simply running out the string, folks, and the clock as well. Third and short. Stolen work, drifts back, looks downfield, has a man open. That's Clements at the 35, gets to the 30. Coming over is Davey Wright to hit him. And also another young man in there. But the Panthers doing a nice job on defense. They've got mostly some reserves in there, I see. But they have Danny Cervantz now checking out of the football game. Here comes Bobby Rodriguez out. He's going to get his breather. Here late in the ball game comes Davey Wright out.
Coach, Frank, the subs are in now for Coach John Wilkins' team. And another man in on the tackle there on that play was Mike Allen. Is Permian with the game well in hand now and the clock running down. Letting some of those guys who don't see that much action, especially in the playoffs, have a chance to play here in this semifinal clash.
20-7 our score. Permian on top, and Permian will advance. And next Saturday, one would suspect, they'll be playing for the state championship, and they will either play Beaumont French or San Antonio Madison. And, of course, you'll know all about that by the time you see our telecast today. We are starting on Sunday afternoon. You'll know where and when and how it's going to be, folks. Could be the final play of the football game. Pass over the middle. It is caught by McCullough. Gets it inside the 20 down to the 15-yard line. To the 13 he goes. And now the clock stops long enough to move the chains. 7 ticks left here at Ratliff Stadium this afternoon. And a timeout is going to be taken by Highland Park. They're not going to say die. They're going to hang in there, fight you to the last little breath. They would like to at least put something else, as John said, on the boards to make it respectable. John, for the Panthers, of course, this has been a perfect season. This will give them their 15th win. And I think that's they're going to be the most that they've had as a team throughout their storied history. And if they can tack on number 16 next Saturday or Friday, whenever they play, and I would suspect Saturday afternoon. In fact, I know it will be a Saturday afternoon game. They will, of course, amass a state title and another new record.
15-0 is an incredible record. Of course, they went through the entire regular season at 10-0. Went through the District 4-5A season, which is going to be probably your toughest district all around, up and down from top to bottom in this state. Went 7-0 through that district, beat a couple of the best teams in the state, in Midland Lee, of course, and San Angelo Central. Then had to come back and play Midland Lee last week in the quarterfinals and came back from a 14-3 deficit in the second quarter to win that football game, 15-14. A lot of people said, Frank, that game might have been for the state championship of Class 5A. We'll never know. It was too bad those teams couldn't have met in the final game, but Permian is in that Class 5A title game. They'll be in there next Saturday against either Beaumont French or San Antonio Madison.
Final play of the football game coming up in all probability. Stolen work. Passes into the end zone, intended for Clements, and that'll stop the clock. Give them one more pop. 2 seconds left. But the pass play intended for Wayne Clements in the end zone fell away incomplete.
Well, Frank, it isn't every day that you play for a state semifinals game, and Highland Park now with an opportunity to score a touchdown. They want it, and they're going for it.
Got an interesting note from statistician Barry Sachs. Permian has allowed Highland Park inside the 20-yard line on the first drive of the day and on their last drive of the day. And then between that time, let me tell you, that defense did a job. So sure enough, this will be it. You can sing the song and turn out the lights, because with this play, it's going to all be over. Hard rush, put on stolen work. Pass over the middle, knocked down, incomplete. Our ball game is history. Put this one in the record books. Mark it up as a victory for the mighty Panthers of Permian. 20-7, our final score. And John, some thoughts from you.
Frank, you know, I just can't say enough about this Permian team. As you said, they're so well coached, and they execute so well drilled. You almost think they could compete on a smaller college level the way they play. They're now 15-0, undefeated, headed to the state championship game. Of course, Permian High School has won football championships in 1965, 1972. Their last one came in 1980. In that year, they defeated Highland Park in the state semifinals. Still a case of deja vu here today as Permian defeats the Scots once again in a Final Four contest. On the Panthers go now to the state title game.
Since then, it took till 1977 for the Wildcats and Scots to get back together. And since then, my oh my, what kind of ball games we played. In 77, a quarterfinal ball.